There comes a moment, not in every life, but in every awakened life, when you look in the mirror and see a stranger staring back. Not because you've changed too much, but because you've changed too little. Because the person you are was never supposed to be the final version of you. You were not born for mediocrity. You were not designed to drift. You were created to rise, to evolve, to become a force, not just in the world, but in your own world, and you know it. But somewhere along the way, you were trained to forget, conditioned to shrink, taught to trade your fire for comfort, your ambition for approval, your dreams for distractions. And now, something inside you is stirring. That whisper you've been ignoring, it's getting louder. It's not anxiety. It's not midlife crisis. It's your soul trying to remind you of who you were before the world told you who to be. This is the moment most people walk away from, but not you, because somewhere deep down, you know, you're not here to adjust to your circumstances. You're here to transform them. You are here to recreate the person you were born to become. Not someday, not when it's convenient, but now. And that begins with the courage to confront the lie that's kept you small, the lie that says, this is just who I am. Number, who you are is who you decide to be. And that decision, and that raw, terrifying, beautiful act of self-resurrection is the most powerful thing you will ever do. Ask any great creator, leader, disruptor. They will all tell you the turning point was never the opportunity. It was the identity shift. It was the moment they stopped playing the role life assigned them and stepped into the role they chose. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. Oprah was told she wasn't fit for television. Napoleon Hill himself was rejected, broke, dismissed, until he forged the fire that birthed his legacy. They didn't wait for validation. They built it. They became it, because the true self isn't found. It's forged in silence, in sacrifice, in days when no one believes in you, not even you, but you keep going. And it all starts with a single undeniable truth. You are not done yet. Your story isn't over. Your power isn't spent. Your best isn't behind you. It's buried inside you, waiting for excavation, waiting for you to choose the hard path, the growth path, the path of recreation. And this path begins with one thing: mindset. Not the mindset that posts affirmations and hopes for better, but the kind of mindset that refuses retreat. A mindset built not on hype, but on conviction. When the mind is set, truly set, there is no room for backpedaling, no tolerance for excuses. There is only forward motion. Henry Ford didn't revolutionize industry because he had funding. He had focus, a steel trap mindset. He didn't ask, can I? He asked, how will I? And the world bent to answer. You must adopt the same posture, not wishful, but willful. Recreate the way you think, and you recreate everything else. No more entertaining doubt as a guest at your table. No more renting space in your mind to mediocrity. You will need belief so strong it doesn't waver in the dark. Belief so rooted it becomes your GPS when the storms come. Because storms will come, and when they do, you'll discover what most people never learn. Adversity is not your enemy. It is your architect. It carves away the weak layers. It exposes what needs to be rebuilt. And if you let it, it will reveal the structure of your strength. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times, not because he was wrong, but because he was relentless. Every failure was a vote cast for the man he was becoming. Are you willing to cast those same votes? To stay with the vision when no one claps? To keep showing up when the progress is invisible? To breathe life into your future when the present looks like dust? Because that's what it takes to recreate a life. Discipline, vision, conviction, repetition. You don't become new by reading the words, you become new by living them. You rise through rituals, through actions repeated until they engrave a new identity into your bones. So build them. Wake up early, not for productivity, but for power. Train your body, not just for health, but for dominion. Speak affirmations, not like wishes, but like laws. Create space in your life for reflection, solitude, and growth. Let your habits become the scaffolding of your transformation. This is how you rewire the system. And this is how you strip away the old coding that told you to play it safe and install the blueprint for greatness. And once your mindset shifts, you must move toward clarity. Because you cannot hit a target you haven't defined, and so define it. What do you want? Not just to have, but to become. Be specific, be bold, be unapologetically honest, and stop saying, I just want to be happy. Say, I want to feel alive when I wake up. I want to build something that outlasts me. I want to know I didn't waste this breath, this body, this lifetime. Clarity is power. It separates the dreamers from the doers. When you have clarity, you stop entertaining distractions. You stop saying yes to what doesn't match your mission. And that's when vision becomes visible. When you see it, not as fantasy, but as fact. As your new normal, as your next chapter already written and just waiting for you to step into the page. And once vision is clear, purpose arrives. Not the fluffy kind, but the kind that aches, that won't let you rest, that calls to you louder the more you try to ignore it. Purpose is what turns pressure into focus, pain into fire. It's the force that says, no matter what happens, I keep going. Steve Jobs said it best. The only thing that kept him going was that he loved what he did. Passion wasn't optional. It was essential. Because when your path gets hard, and it will, you need more than goals. You need purpose, and your purpose will demand discipline. Discipline is the bridge between identity and reality, and everyone wants change. Few will pay the price, but discipline is that price, and it's non-negotiable. It is what separates the inspired from the transformed, the dreamer from the builder, the talker from the doer. Without discipline, all you have is noise. With it, you have legacy. Every great individual you admire, every name etched into history, didn't rise because they always felt motivated. They rose because they were disciplined even when they didn't feel a thing. They showed up when they were tired. They studied when they were confused. They practiced when they felt like quitting, because they understood something most people never do. Your emotions don't dictate your destiny. Your habits do. Discipline isn't about rigidity. It's about commitment to what matters. You don't brush your teeth because you're inspired. You do it because you're committed to health. So why would you treat your vision, your body, your mind, your future with any less consistency? This is the hour to build, to train your nervous system for greatness, to stop outsourcing your power to moods, to external triggers, to the opinions of people who haven't built what you're building. You owe your potential that much. And once you've tasted discipline, something else emerges. Action. Because without action, all of this, the mindset, the clarity, the purpose, the vision, is just potential energy trapped in theory. But when you move, you activate a different law, the law of momentum. Start small, but start now. Don't wait for perfect conditions. You'll be waiting forever. Perfection is the cousin of paralysis. You don't need a 5-year plan. You need to do the next right thing today, then again tomorrow, then again the next day until the compound effect becomes undeniable. One decision, one change, one habit, one action at a time. Success isn't a leap, it's a build, brick by brick, blow by blow. And with every step, you begin to realize it was never about the outcome. It was about becoming the kind of person who moves, who builds, who shows up in alignment with their future self, even before the world recognizes it. And here's the truth. Most people don't fail from lack of ability. They fail from lack of consistency. They quit too soon. They stop 3 feet from gold, but not you. You've already come too far. You've already glimpsed the life that could be yours. And now it haunts you, not to torment, but to remind. To remind you that the gap between who you are and who you were born to be is not fate. It's discipline. It's action. It's your decision. And once you act, truly act, you begin to feel a shift. The chaos quiets. The fog begins to lift. And in its place comes something rare. Gratitude. Not the kind you post online, the kind that humbles you. the kind that makes you weep at 5 a.m. after a decade of struggle because for the first time, you see how it all fits together. Gratitude doesn't mean pretending life is easy. It means recognizing the value of everything, even the struggle, because every bruise, every fall, every failure brought you here. It sculpted you, tempered you, trained you. The sleepless nights, the heartbreaks, the setbacks, they weren't punishments, they were preparation. They made you resilient, flexible, hungry, awake. You stop cursing your path and start blessing it. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what did this teach me? That's gratitude. And from there, you become something dangerous to the forces of stagnation. You become adaptive. You stop resisting change. You start inviting it. Because you finally realize that reinvention is your birthright. You weren't made to stay the same. The seasons don't, the trees don't, the rivers don't, so why should you? The moment you accept change as your ally instead of your enemy, you become unstoppable. You let go of what no longer fits. You release identities that once protected you, but now imprison you. You stop clinging to versions of yourself that were never meant to be permanent. You adapt, not out of fear, but out of awareness, out of wisdom, out of deep respect for the flow of life. Adaptability is not weakness, it's a superpower. Darwin never said survival of the strongest, he said survival of the most adaptable. Because the future doesn't belong to those who resist change, it belongs to those who ride it, who shape it, who have the humility to say, what got me here won't get me there, let's grow. And when you live like this and with discipline, action, gratitude, and adaptability, you become resilient, not in theory, but in truth, not in words, but in wounds that healed stronger than before. Resilience is the art of rising, not just once, but again and again. Resilience is what turns the scar into a symbol. It says, I was broken, but I built something stronger. It says, you tried to stop me, but you only forged my fire. No one hands you resilience, you earn it. Through the betrayals that didn't crush you, through the losses that didn't break you, through the self-doubt that didn't silence you, you earn it every time you choose to rise, when it's cold, when it's dark, when no one sees you. Resilience is quiet, it's not loud, it's not flashy. It's the quiet decision to try again when everything in you screams, stay down. And when you rise, truly rise, you don't just impact your own life, you inspire others. Because the world is watching, silently begging for someone to go first, to show that it can be done, that the past is not a life sentence, that pain doesn't disqualify you, it qualifies you, that it's not too late, that becoming the person you were born to be is still possible. And when you walk that truth, not talk it, not think it, but embody it, you light a path for others to follow. You become a living blueprint. A breathing reminder that greatness doesn't come from perfection, but from alignment, from ownership, from transformation. And as that transformation takes root, you begin to learn. You begin to learn that real growth isn't loud, it's layered. It's not always visible from the outside, not at first, but deep inside, the old wiring is being dismantled, and new circuits are being formed. You're not reacting anymore, you're responding. You're not proving anymore, you're embodying. This is the power of learning. Not just gathering information, but integrating wisdom. You stop being a consumer of random advice and you become a student of your own life. You look back not to regret, but to extract. You ask the hard questions. What patterns have I repeated? What beliefs have I inherited that no longer serve me? What lessons did life try to teach me through pain that I ignored the first time? Because when you ask better questions, you start living better answers. This is not academic learning, this is soul work. This is reprogramming, and this is healing, and this is where you shift from knowledge to knowing because you felt it, you've lived it, and now you're becoming it. And as your awareness deepens, something even more profound begins to emerge. Self-respect, not ego, not arrogance, but deep-rooted reverence for your own journey. You start walking differently, not because you're better than anyone else, but because you finally realize you're not less. You're not an accident. You're not a placeholder in someone else's story. You are a force, a culmination of generations, experiences, scars, and silent victories still unfolding. And you start to see your value, not in what you produce, but in who you are becoming. You respect your time. You protect your energy. You set boundaries, not out of bitterness, but out of clarity. You no longer beg to be understood by people who were never assigned to your vision. You no longer water yourself down to fit into containers you've outgrown. You no longer tolerate anything that insults your evolution, because when you respect yourself, you raise your standards, and everything in your life begins to shift in response. And that's when the final piece arrives. Power, not borrowed, not given, not dependent on title, wealth, or status, but power that is rooted, power that doesn't flinch, power that was earned through the storms you didn't post about, the nights you didn't sleep, the breakdowns you didn't share, the decisions you made alone, trembling but deciding anyway. Power forged through fire. That kind of power can't be imitated. It can't be taken from you because it didn't come from them. It came from within. It came from every moment you could have quit but didn't. From every chapter where you thought you were being buried, but you were being planted. And now you rise. Not as the person you were, not as the version they expected, but as the person you were born to become. The one who lives intentionally, who speaks with conviction, who moves with vision, who builds not from desperation, but from divine direction. You become magnetic, not because you're trying to attract, but because you've aligned. You've become one with the vision. And that vision begins to pull the right people, the right ideas, the right opportunities toward you. This is the new gravity you create. This is what it means to recreate yourself, to disrupt the old programming, to rebuild, not in reaction to life, but in response to your soul. You no longer chase purpose. You embody it. You no longer wait for permission. You walk in your authority. And in doing so, you inspire others to do the same. Because legacy is not built through noise. It's built through impact. Through the quiet, relentless consistency of a life lived in alignment with truth. And truth always rises, even when it's buried, even when it's mocked, even when it's forgotten. The truth of who you are is undeniable. And now, it's your responsibility to remember, to strip away every lie you've believed, to silence every voice that told you you're not enough, to reject the fear that says it's too late. It's not too late. You are not too broken. You have not missed your window. Everything you need is already inside you, buried beneath the rubble of who you were taught to be. This is your excavation, and this is your reckoning. This is the season where you unlearn the limits and reclaim the truth, because you don't need a new life. You need a new lens. You don't need a new dream. You need new discipline. You don't need a new destiny. You need to decide. Decide that from this moment forward, you will no longer live as a watered-down version of your potential. You will no longer negotiate with doubt, dance with delay, or flirt with failure as if it's your only option. You were born with fire. And now it's time to ignite. So stand up, not just physically, but spiritually. Stand up for the vision. Stand up for the life your younger self prayed for. Stand up for the future your older self will thank you for. Stand up and step in. Because the door to your transformation has been open this entire time. It was never locked. It just required the courage to walk through. So walk. Walk with focus. Walk with pain if you must, but walk. Because motion is the proof of faith. And faith is how you build what has never existed before. That's the great irony of transformation. And it doesn't require certainty. It requires movement. Not because the path is clear, but because your vision is. So start walking toward the version of you that doesn't flinch, that doesn't chase, that doesn't doubt. The version of you who remembers, the one who was born to create, to lead, to love, to rise. And from this day forward, that's exactly who you will become. You will become the one who doesn't fear failure, because failure has already met you, tested you, broken your bones, and still you stood. You will become the one who speaks truth, not to impress, but to liberate. You will become the one who leads, not by shouting from stages, but by how you show up in the small, invisible moments of integrity. This is the power of recreation. This is not a reinvention of the surface. It's a resurrection of the soul, a rising from the dust of your past, a defiant act of becoming, not by addition, but by subtraction. You are not adding layers to fit into this world. You are shedding them to finally step into the world you were meant to shape. And yes, it will cost you. It will cost you your excuses, your distractions, your attachments to things and people that keep you small. It will cost you comfort, and it will cost you the approval of those who benefit from your silence. But what you gain in return is yourself, your fire, your voice, your peace, and your freedom. You will walk lighter, not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. You will speak clearer, not because the noise disappeared, but because your signal now overpowers the noise. You will breathe deeper, not because you escaped the storm, but because you became the calm within it. That's what's available to you now, not a better life. A realer one aligned with your values, one rooted in conviction, one powered by clarity, sustained by discipline, ignited by purpose, and expanded by love. Because in the end, all greatness is grounded in love, not softness, not passivity, but powerful love. The love of your vision, the love of your future self, the love of something so much bigger than fear. It is that love that rebuilds nations, resurrects dreams, and breaks generational chains. That love now lives in you, and it's time to let it lead. So if you've been waiting for a sign, if you've been asking when to start, if you've been hoping that someone somewhere will tap you on the shoulder and say, it's your turn, let this be that moment. Let this be the fire you remember when your knees shake. Let this be the whisper that becomes a war cry. Because no one else is coming to save you. No mentor, no motivation, no moment, only you. You are both the sculptor and the stone, the painter and the portrait, the author and the unfinished manuscript of your life. This is your pen. This is your page. Now write. Not a continuation of the past, but a declaration of who you are now and who you will become. And never forget, you are not behind. You are not late. You are not broken. You are becoming. And becoming takes time. It takes silence. It takes sacrifice. But above all, it takes a decision that says, I will not settle for the script life handed me. I will not betray the vision burning inside me. I will not live one more day pretending that I don't know how powerful I truly am. From this moment forward, you will think like the person you were born to be. You will speak like the person you were born to be. You will train, act, live, love like the person you were born to be. And when doubt comes, because it will, you will not shrink. You will stand. Because you've already made the decision that changed everything. You chose to recreate the person you were born to become, not by accident, not by hope, but by design. You have returned to yourself and now rise and build. The world is waiting, and you, the real you, are finally here.